Hello, everyone. Welcome to this channel where we do things a little differently. Instead of me writing the story, it's written by you. See, I have prompts and you, the viewers, leave your ideas down below in the comments section. And then once in a while, like today, I pull one out and it becomes the prompt. Today's prompt comes from viewer Stephen Blackwood and it says, a US soldier has a nightmare about his friend being taken by the Viet Cong, and the next day, the terrible events start happening to him. Now, as you can see, this is not like a normal story. This is more of a reliving. It's raw, it's personal. So let's get right into the story. I remember the exact smell in the air that morning. It was rot and jungle and gun oil and something else. Something metallic, like blood before it's even spilled. We were somewhere near Firebase Cunningham, March 1969. A no-name stretch of hell buried deep in the Ashau Valley. They called it Hell's Handle. Not officially, but unofficial names tend to carry more truth than the maps. I was with Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 502nd Infantry. My name doesn't matter, not really, not after what we saw. But his name was Foster. Private First Class Mason Foster. Radio operator, quiet kid, tall, weary. From Oregon, he used to hum old soul songs when he cleaned his rifle. Said it helped keep the ghosts out of his head. We'd been in the valley 9 days, moving ridge to ridge, clearing bunkers, watching the canopy like hawks waiting for a dart from the tree line. The NVA were ghosts out here, always moving, never sleeping. We had lost 2 men to booby traps, 1 more to malaria. But what happened to Foster wasn't like that. It wasn't like anything. It started 2 days before he disappeared. We were dug into a damp saddle between 2 ridge lines. Fog rolled in by 1600 hours every day like clockwork. Thick, wet. Like the mountain didn't want to be seen. That evening, Foster sat quiet by the Claymore perimeter, scanning the mists. He turned to me and said, "Do you hear it?" I asked him what he meant. Like whispering. It's real low. Not Vietnamese. Not English either. Just noise that sounds like words. I hear it every night now. I laughed it off. Figured it was jungle madness. Everyone heard strange things when the humidity got in your bones and the leeches got in your boots. But later that night, the whispers came to me too. Not loud, not clear, but just enough to make you feel like someone was walking just behind your thoughts. The next morning, Foster was gone. No signs of a struggle. No blood trail. No scattered gear. His radio sat beside his rucksack like he meant to come back. But he didn't. We swept the perimeter. Ray checked claymores. Nothing. Sergeant Deeks, a hardest who didn't spook easy, ordered a 4-man patrol down the North Ridge in case Foster had wandered or gotten snagged on something. We found nothing. Not even footprints. But that night, someone triggered the tripwire on Claymore 3. We jumped. Weapons hot. But when we checked, the wire was clean, like it had been touched by air. And that's when things started getting wrong. The next night, I was on watch with Collins. Round 02:00 hours, I heard something moving past the tree line slow, like dragging boots. I flicked my safety, whispered to Collins. Then I saw it, a figure, about 30 feet out, standing still between the trees, tangled in moonlight. I called out, "Halt! Identify yourself." No answer. Then the figure stepped closer, and I swear on every grave I've dug it looked like Foster. Same height, same gait, but his eyes, they glowed faint and hollow, like the jungle had eaten the soul out of him. He didn't speak. He just stared, and then he stepped back into the trees, gone, like smoke and fog. Collins and I sat in silence until sunrise. We didn't tell the others. What the hell could we say? But something had followed us from the valley floor. 3 nights later, the platoon was repositioned west, near an old French outpost that had long since crumbled into the jungle. We were digging a new perimeter when I found something buried in the muck just outside our camp. A pair of dog tags. Still warm. I froze. And when I wiped the mud from the metal, I saw the name. Foster, M. US 5439 to 0874, OPOS. Protestant. The tags were warm, like they'd just been worn. I ran to the CO, showed him. He looked pale, but he said nothing. No report was filed. No radio call went out. We just moved on, like it hadn't happened. But that night, the whispers came back louder. And this time, we all heard them. Every man, wide-eyed, rifles clenched. They came from the trees, from the earth, from under the ground. One private wet himself. Deeks shook so bad he dropped his M16. And then, we heard the radio. Foster's call sign. Alphaco 59er. Requesting sitrep. Alphaco 59er. But the radio was off. Battery removed. disconnected. It was coming from nowhere. The next morning, Deeks ordered us to pack up and move fast. We didn't argue, but just as we started out, we found something half buried in a clump of wet bamboo. It was Foster's boot, still laced, still muddy, and inside was a sock, still damp, but it hadn't rained in 2 days. Collins started muttering prayers. Another guy snapped, ran off screaming into the trees. We never found him. That night, it came. We were setting up for night watch when the fog got strange. It wasn't fog anymore. It had weight to it, a taste, like sulfur and wet copper, and from the middle of it walked a figure tall, thin, dragging one foot like it was broken. We raised rifles, screamed warnings. It didn't stop, so Deeks fired 3 rounds, center mass. It staggered, dropped, we rushed in, and there was nothing, just crushed moss, no body, no blood. But in the center of the clearing lay a second pair of tags, identical to the first, still warm. After that, morale disintegrated. 3 men requested transfers. 2 got sent to psych. Collins refused to speak, just rocked back and forth, holding his helmet. I started sleeping with a knife under my pillow, not because of the NVA, but because I didn't trust my own damn shadow anymore. They pulled us out 6 days later. No debrief, no after-action report. They just flew us out like nothing had happened. But I kept the tags, both pairs. Sometimes, when it's quiet enough, I swear I hear them clicking in the drawer, clinking together, like footsteps on gravel. It's been decades. My beard is gray. My knees crack when I walk. I've got grandkids now, but every year, on the same day Foster disappeared, I wake up to the same dream. He's standing at the edge of my bed. His uniform is damp, his eyes hollow, and he whispers, "You left me." And the worst part is he's right. We left him out there. Or maybe he never really left at all.